proudest day, and the proudest time in the seat of a rally car, because that day and that hour and those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. You know, I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all was said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.
Welcome to Krunching Gears, the Rally podcast. The 2025 season continues, Connor, and we're all about celebrating the best that this wee country has to offer. And Rali Ceredigion last weekend surely showed that we have the best talent.
Oh, we look absolutely. The work has been going in over the last few years particularly into MI Academy, and the quality of drivers and co-drivers that are being produced, and the proof is in the pudding. We're seeing it with the results now.
Yeah, like we've said before, not only the academy drivers just coming good, they're lifting all the talent here, and that goes without a shadow of a doubt. But the academy really come to the fore last weekend. Jon Shane taking overall one, Wall and Liam then fourth overall. Really strong points there for their BRC campaign. Eamonn Kelly and Lurkin Moore sitting with them then too. Top ERC Rally 3 competitor. Then in Rally 4. Kyle McBride and took top Junior BRC points, and he hot in his heels then. Joe Kelly and McCardle too as well too. And then loads more as well too. Like Callum Devine, first time in MRF tyres. He had his dramas, but the times were good as he acclimatised to the new tyres there. So that'll be interesting to see whether he'll stick with them or where that goes next. Ocean Price had her own Andy Hayes on as well too, and after being so long away, they settled in really well and set some really good times across the weekend there as well too. And then Callum Graffin and James McBride, third place in JBRC and then the Stellantis Cup as well too. And then what can we say? Eamon Boland and MJ. We keep saying that these guys, they go and enjoy their rally and have great crack and take away some fantastic results. No fuss, no drama, just do it. Philip Allen, what can we say about Philip? Hasn't been said before. Times are good, but then, there's always a drama somewhere, and he delivered it last weekend. But, Connor, we said it before again, and we'll probably say it hundreds of times more. This is a purple patch. This is a golden era.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And I hope people are seeing it now and not a case of in 5 years' time or 10 years' time we look back and go, oh, we never realised how good we had it. Like the quality that the quality that is being produced and the calibre, it's just incredible. And, the results are there to back it up. It's not just, we're blowing our own trumpets here. The quality and the results are just incredible at the minute.
Yeah, we can go anywhere in the world and hold our heads very high, because we are producing the talent, and John Coyne and Sean McHugh have to take a large part of the credit for this.
Yeah, look, without a doubt, the amount of work that's gone in behind the scenes, the level of professionalism that John and Sean are bringing to the academy and how they're running that MI Academy, it's incredible. And we're lucky, we're fortunate to be able to talk to the people involved behind the scenes and get an understanding of what goes into it. But I suppose the typical spectator out there really doesn't know the amount of work or understand the amount of work that is going in behind the scenes in between the rallies, not just on the events themselves.
Yeah, because we talked to some of the crews now, and they're going to give us a wee bit of an insight of what's going on there before it. So, it's just brilliant to see, and fair play to everybody involved there. So anyway, enough of us watering on. First of all, we're going to hear from John Armstrong and Shane Byrne.
Shane, just two ordinary lads chasing a big dream. I think that was your quote. Has the reality sunk in?
Yeah. Suppose just a couple of days on, you've a bit of time to process it. So, as I was saying, looking at some of the photos and videos online is great because you can just relive the moment again because it happens that fast too, and there's so much going on and adrenaline and emotions. But no, it's a great feeling. I'm still on a high from last weekend, and So actually just getting a coffee this morning, and I was looking at the back of the Donegal Democrat and looked at the paper to the left with a big spread of me in it. So no, it's pretty cool to see things. Me and John up on top of the car. So no, it's been a good week.
And a BRC win and an ERC win combined, does one get lost in the middle of all of that?
I suppose our main priority was the ERC, but we were registered for BRC points, so that's the icing on the cake to get both. Champagne showers would be an understatement. There was a lot of spraying going on at the finish line. I think John got quite a bad do in there in Aberystwyth, but no, some of the bottles made it home.
It was champagne. The power stage podium was teaming it down with rain as well, so it was a mixture of champagne, rain, and
sweat.
And sweat with me for sure. And then back at Aberystwyth, we had another two podiums to do, the actual podium again, and then the BRC podium. So everything was a bit stinky, but we don't have to wash our suits anymore. We get those done for us. So used to be take them home and wash them and hope it'll come out okay, but we're lucky nowadays.
God love the M Sport people looking after you.
I know, they must have to hold their nose whenever they take it out of the bag and stick it in the washing machine.
And what was the mood in M Sport? Like a fantastic result for them, 1-2 on an ERC event and a BRC event, but really was a brilliant result for the team. Yeah,
it's fantastic, and I think it's quite strange for me and Shane, because we're on our own the whole year, and then we arrived to Aberystwyth same last year, and we've got two teammates, which is nice because there's just more happening in the service areas, obviously bigger setup, and you kind of feed off that energy a wee bit, and everyone's looking to do well, and obviously Romit had a very strong rally, so it was good from our side that the Fiesta had the pace, and you can show where we are at as a crew, and also then that the car isn't just fast in our hands, that it's fast in other drivers' hands as well, and it can do the job, and it is the full package. So yeah, I think everyone was really happy. It was good team effort, and I think that for the guys and girls at Duffenby to get that result was really important for them as well, because there's not a whole lot to celebrate at times for them. So it's been nice for them to get that result, and we're just so happy, and there's definitely relief that we were able to get to the end, because on the whole rally, we had this 1-2, but it was obviously another thing to get it across the line, and super happy to get that result for everyone. Hopefully there's more sales now of the Fiesta this week. That's what we were saying most of the rally, that I think me and Romit were doing a good sales pitch, but it just shows that the car still has the pace, and it's a good package whenever you're going flat out and on top of everything.
Yeah, I can see, and we spoke to John after the rally at Byrne there a few weeks ago, but we haven't never get a chance to speak to you. To me, that was every bit as equally as impressive, because you're racing Kopecky over there. He is Mr. Skoda, he is Mr. Byrne, and to be nipping and taking time out of him, that must have been a surreal experience for you as well.
Yeah, Byrne was absolutely bananas. Amazing rally, just the stages, and even the energy you can pull off some of the fans out there. The super special starting on the Friday night, it was just class. But yeah, to be mixing it with Jan, because we had a stage with 4K gravel on it, which people were a bit apprehensive of it, but no, we were able to pull quite a bit of time out of the rest of the crews, and including Jan, so it got us closer to the top, and they're like, what are you guys doing in there, have you gravel tires on? But towards when we're in the second pass, it actually got quite rough, so being in a good position on the roads, we probably just had the best position for the second pass, because it got quite rough then. But no, we tried to put it up to him Sunday morning, but he just had that bit of a lead, and he was kind of, I suppose, in management mode at that stage. But no, it was great to get second place over there, and good morale for us and the team, and it left things good then heading into Ceredigion, and I suppose just we went one step higher, which is great, and we need to try and maintain that now going forward. So no pressure.
No pressure. But John, whenever you're up against those greats, like, do you kind of almost pinch yourself? Like, these are the guys whenever you were growing up watching WRC and the ERC events, and suddenly you're getting out of hand and you're matching them and beating them on the stages and shaking hands with them and all. Is it a wee bit surreal?
100%. Yeah, it's obviously what you dream of, being able to get to that level and to compete against your heroes or guys that you've followed and you appreciate what they've done, and you know that they've had fantastic careers. So yeah, it was a big pleasure to be able to do that in Barham, and I think we were close in Barham, but ultimately Jan was controlling things, and we learned a lot, I think, about ourselves in Barham, like what we can maybe do better, or where we drop time, or what our strengths are. But I think I never led a rally, at that level overall, ever until Ceredigion. So when you're toe to toe with someone like Jan Kopecky, you learn a lot about what they're doing, because you're driving the stage every bit as hard as them, but then they'll pull a bit of time out of you, or they'll manage a section and you'll take a little bit out of them, or you'll see in the splits that they weren't careful in this bit and then they pushed. So I think from that side I learned a lot in Barham about how to do the job then when I got to Ceredigion. So yeah, it's all about learning, picking things up from other drivers, and obviously then trying to do it yourself and see can you put it all together. But in Ceredigion, once we got into the lead and we had a bit of a lucky moment where we spun on the exit of the corner, the car just sort of slid wide onto the grass on the outside and spun the car very quickly as we were trying to go through a cattle grid. So we hit the front of the car and were lucky not to damage the radiator. And I think whenever there was just so many signs that it was going to be our week. I think like we're just getting away with things and things are going our way, and we all just had a good feeling about it. So before the rally we just said take it stage by stage, but I think actually we were taking it corner by corner and just seeing how the whole thing panned out and try to control it. So yeah, it was a great weekend, and it's always the bit like the duck. It looks calm on the surface, but you're paddling away underneath the water. So yeah, I'm sure from our side we had some nerves, but we knew we could do it, and we had a good team around us to channel that sort of belief. And I think I was fine. Like I think it was nice that Roma was pushing us, because that meant I didn't need to. I think it would have been a lot more managing a sort of bigger gap across the whole rally if he wasn't so close to us. So it was good we had the push right up until the final stage, the penultimate stage, and then we were really good in the wet weather. We took 14 seconds out of them all, and then we had a gap we could manage on the last stage. I think we knew we could go for power stage win, but there was no point. Obviously you learn from your mistakes, and we've had an incident on the last stage this year, so I wasn't going to make the same mistake twice, and tried to just get through and drive in the middle of the road. And we knew we had the pace just to manage that 30-second gap, and we still managed to be fourth on the power stage. So it still worked out good, and no one remembers who wins the power stage, but everyone would remember the guy who fluffed his first win on the last stage. So that was the mindset going into it.
And Shane, is that a conversation, or is it almost like a telepathic understanding?
Going into the last stage?
Yeah,
so I suppose starting off Sunday morning, the lead wasn't that much. I suppose you have to push and see what's going to happen in the first and the second, and was a lot of like reports of bad weather coming in, and sure enough, like the heavens opened, and we went out with the right tire package. There's another like big deciding factor was all them big decisions were the correct ones. There's no like in between. It was the correct decision with us and the engineer and the reports we were getting from out there with the weather. And then like, coming into like one of the first kind of heavy braking corners from the co-driver's side, you get a feel that, he has a good feeling here in the wet. And like everything was nice and tidy. And when we came to the end, then I could hear Molly's, kind of show the phone to John, but I didn't pass any remarks on it. And after then, like we realised that we're a second a kilometre up on the rest of them. And I think after that, we're just like, right, we're just going to sail through the next one, and get her home. Like so. But no, you do them conversations just to so everybody's in the same wavelength and that, because when you're out there, Kevin, the corners are that inviting to push at times that you can easily get lost in the race. But no, just as John says, from early in the year, we knew what we had to do and to get it home, and because it's a big thing to get a European one, like, and especially your first. So
yeah, I think you're preparing now, like, and the illustrious company, Chris Meek, Craig Breen, probably the only ones from this island that ever managed an ERC or IRC one at the time. So it's nice company to be keeping. You have your names along with them.
Yeah, big household names. I think co-drivers side is Aaron Johnson and Paul Nagel. So, so it's nice names to be included with. So, I think it'll be like maybe down the line a couple of years' time, and you see pictures and that up on the wall, or things being shared on social media. You'll realise that was your day, that was your weekend. So no, very proud of what John and I did at the weekend. So,
yeah. And John, damp conditions, tight, tricky stages, a lot of crests and jumps, bit like being at home.
Yeah, it was actually quite an interesting rally from that side, because usually you'll go back to a rally from year to year and there'll only be a bit of a change in terms of the route, or a stage will be reversed, or you'll use 60% of a stage and then 40% will be a new section. But this year they just decided to throw everything in the bin almost, apart from one stage. And yeah, it was a bit of a character change, because like on Saturday there was two of the stages were super fast, not so bumpy, quite wide, top of fifth gear for 60% of the stage, and then the middle stage was the devil stage. I'm not going to pronounce it in Welsh, but is it Yadofla or something? I don't know, but
co-driver.
But it was just so polar opposite to the other two stages in the loop. So you had to be quite a dynamic like crew in terms of you needed a good recce. You need to understand what you needed from the notes and the wide sections, how to carry the speed, and then on the jumps, how to line the car up and land in the right place and carry the speed over all the bumps, and have a setup that works and all of that as well. So as Shane said, we made all the right decisions. We knew what we wanted from the car, and the weather conditions were always changing too. It was dry on the first day, but that meant, I think, across the whole rally we used every tire in our across the range. Like, we had wets, we had hards, we had mediums, we had super softs. It just showed how demanding the rally was from that side. But when you're so far into that level of rallying, you need to rely on everything you've learned, and the surface, what kind of tire you need for it, and if it rains, what tire is going to work. If it's cold, what tire is going to work. We actually didn't always agree with what the recommended tire was, just because we knew what we wanted and what was going to work for us. So that's I think that's where you really gain, is being a close knit team, especially me and my engineer, and you're on the same page. You know what you want, and you believe in what you know and what you've experienced, and you have to trust yourself. So yeah, very demanding rally, that's for sure. You see that stage of the onboards on YouTube, the full 34 kilometers. Yeah, there's a lot of driving in it, a lot of jumps. It's demanding on everyone and the car, and our backs, maybe more Shane's back. think it was one place that he got winded a little bit, but yeah, it's so demanding. But one of the best stages I think I've ever driven is that 34 kilometer stage. So yeah, it's definitely a big pleasure to have been able to drive so well on those roads, and you know it's our as close as we're going to get to our home rally of ERC. And okay, we're not from Wales, but like if you're into rallying, you will have been in some of those areas before, and yeah, it becomes as close to a home rally as you'll get.
And Shane, that long stage, like, was it 53, 54 pages of notes? Like, that's demand, never mind on the driver, that's demand on a co-driver.
Yeah, something like that. I remember it's just a John how many times when I looked at him, like count how many pages I've left. But just the characteristics of of that particular stage change so many times. You're like going through the high banks, then all of a sudden it's rock faces to the right, slight staggered drops to the left, which were a lot of the jumps, and you needed, nice lines. And that stage unfortunately took a lot of prisoners throughout the full length of it, and towards the end then there was a lot of muck and pollution pulled out, so it literally threw everything at you. I think maybe there's one or two places that there was maybe running water from the rain a day or two before. So no, it was a lot to do. It's quite a long time to, for driver, co-driver to like 100% concentration. I think it was 17 minutes plus we're out for, because you don't get too many stages that length in the ERC. Rome had one, but no, like they're the stage that if you can get it right, you will get the time. You'll get rewarded, but it takes a lot of work. Took like 45 minutes to write notes for that stage, and you're talking maybe the guts of an hour, maybe well over an hour, John, to like refine the pace notes on it. So no, we put in a lot of work, so we got rewarded for it, thankfully, in that stage.
Yeah. And then obviously your fitness levels, like, all the work you're doing with the academy and all that kind of preps you for those epic stages. So, 17 minutes of full on 100% concentration. Like, it must be easy for your mind to wander, or your body to start to lapse. But if you have the right ingredients in the body, that those all come together.
Yeah. It's sorry, Shane, go on ahead. You go.
No, like it's the saying, a fit body is a fit mind is a fit body. So it's a full package, and you don't want to be eating a banana or two maybe before getting on and keep the energy up. But
Yeah,
John will be better at the nutrition than me now.
It does come down to just trying to do the basics, but when the pressure's on, you forget to do the simple things. So yeah, it's knowing that you need fuel in your body. Even in recce, like, make a good conscious effort to always be drinking or always be eating, because like it's demanding on itself on brain like usage. Like you can get so fatigued come midday on a recce. So it's really starting from there and trying to just keep on top of the nutrition, drinking water. Also sleep is important. Is trying to balance getting good sleep with obviously staying up late and doing the refinements on the notes, as Shane was saying, which you're just sat there, we're both just yawning to ourselves trying to go through the video, but you get better and better as it goes along. But we get a lot of support through the MI Rally Academy and everyone else around us to really understand and have knowledge of what's going to improve your performance. And then I think through repetition, it just becomes sort of part of your routine. And especially from my side, I've started doing a lot more stuff through the academy and Fit for Race as well, which go to some of the ERC rallies. So doing a lot of warm-up stuff with them and cognitive warm-up, and they're supplying you, making sure that you've got the right recovery gels and drinks and all sorts. So we're lucky to have that support, because it makes a good difference during a rally. It kind of takes the thought process out of it for yourself at times as well. But it's all about prep beforehand and always doing the right things between rallies too.
And John, you registered for both the ERC and the BRC, and obviously the focus was ERC. But were you keeping an eye on what was happening in the British Championship side of things?
Well, I don't know. It was obviously to try and help with the team championship for M Sport, and it was nice that we were able to do that. And from a personal side, I like being in the BRC. You know, they've got a good TV program now. It's good for our sponsors, for everyone supporting us, to see us in that. And also, growing up, you watch British Rally Championship, seeing that as the stepping stone to start a career or go anywhere. So to get a win in the British Championship is a big deal for me. So I'm happy that we were able to be registered and show our pace. And the BRC guys are really quick. You know, before the rally, you're wondering who's going to be the fastest, because those guys are at the top of their game, and when they get a chance to be within the European Championship, they're going really, really for it. And yeah, I think Rommet was the surprise of the rally, to be fair. Really good pace for a lack of tarmac running. So he became our sort of focus to keep an eye on him. And also we want to win our ERC rally. So it's just sort of the two went hand in hand. So yeah, it's nice to have the trophy at home now, and yeah, it was a good pleasure. So we'll see. I'll see if we can get an entry now for the Cambrian or something. Would be nice, but we'll have to see how things go in Croatia.
And Shane too, like, you know, you've been very lucky this year. You know, you've travelled all around Europe doing the European Championship. Like, Ceredigion, it's come out of nowhere. That's only, I think, the 5th time it's run or something like that there. What a credit to that whole team that's behind that rally. It looked an absolutely epic rally, comparable to anywhere in the world.
Yeah, kudos to the organising committee. It's just maybe a pity there wasn't more European competitors, you know, attended, because it is a really good rally. Like, it's none of them rallies are easy, Kevin, but like Ceredigion is quite tough. Like, when you throw in a bit of rain then halfway through on Sunday, like, it makes it interesting. But no, I remember like when Joe Kelly and them were over doing it a year or two ago, I was watching it and I was wanting to go and do it, and then I got a shot at it this year. So no, it's a very good rally, very well run and good stages. So no, it's on the calendar maybe for next year, I think. So hopefully we'll be back again.
Yes, hopefully. And speaking of Joe Kelly and the other competitors over there, like, from your like home place in Brookles, if you threw a rope out round, like, even 20 mile, you'd be to Cache, right round, you know, Frosses, Mount Charles. Oh, you know, the amount of competitors you would pull in, isn't it just fantastic?
Yeah, there's so many people competing down like southwest Donegal, because go to Joe, you have you know, McBride, Jervis, you know, there's a lot of people, a lot of drivers down our way too, which is good.
Yeah.
But actually, just for on that, John said he was happy to sit with me for a rally now, see if, you know, maybe a track day or something. So he's going to organise me a car.
I'm a part-time co-driver in training, so if anyone wants the services, I'll get them out maybe a day late. But yeah.
There's a lovely Donegal Forest rally coming up there in a couple of months, and it's right beside home.
That's it. Yeah, we'll have to get Shane and Yoke for it, and I'll hop in.
Dafty.
We'll just keep her in the road mode, maybe.
But Shane, I suppose maybe we'll start wrapping things up. Like, going into that final stage, you know, do you start to hear every wee knock and bang in the car? You know, we often hear other people saying that's probably the worst stage of their life, that going into that stage, you know, trying to control the one.
Yeah, been in a situation or two before similar to that, and I listen to the noises, and it can take your focus, you know, off what you're trying to do a little bit. But no, it's just I was saying, like, when we were going down the stage, the last couple of pages of pace notes, I could spot the chopper out, the helicopter out to the right hand side, and you know, like we were the last car with the live onboard footage, although it is running maybe a minute or two behind. But you know, that's the camera's on you, and a lot of people at home like wishing you to do well and get across the line. But for a split second, you do acknowledge it, but then you're like, no, I need to get back in the notes here because maybe John's thinking the same thing, and the two of us are focusing on the stage. But no, it's just, hey, it's an amazing feeling going across the finish line, because at that stage, you've done it, and there's a little bit of a drive to the ceremonial finish, so it's good to have a bit of a chat going down the road, then a fist pump,
Yeah.
So but like the heavens absolutely opened, and first man we met there was Eamonn Kelly. Came over and gave us a big hug, and Jennings was there too. So it was nice to see local faces, because it was quite a bit of a drive from Aberystwyth itself, so not everyone was able to travel out. So, but no, regarding last stages, it's they can be tougher than a super special at times,
And Shane, you said a bit of a chat, but did it get a bit emotional in the car?
Oh, of course, I would be an emotional person anyway. It's just, I suppose, Connor's like you'd be working towards to try and achieve something like that for a long time, and then all of a sudden you find yourself you're in that position, and you're just minutes away from achieving it, and sense of relief. But just, I suppose, knowing that you've done it too is the thing as well. So it just takes a wee while to sink in.
That's, I
John,
suppose, it's a combination, of bottled up emotions, adrenaline, pressure, everything, and then it is like, that sense of, oh my God, we've actually done this, yeah.
Yeah, there is an element of pressure too, because when you're up there, you're in at the sharp end, you're competing against some of the best in Europe, and then, the team want you to do well, and, the academy want you to do well too. So you do have people relying on you in the background, and you want to get the result for them too, because with John there, like John Coyne, he's invested that much in a lot of drivers and co-drivers over the years, so it's great to get the result for him to show that the hard work is paying off. So,
And John, I suppose a similar question to yourself, like that last stage, to finally get that one, like you've worked at this, like one of the first rallies was 5 Mile Town back in 2005, I'm thinking, is it?
Yes,
no, 9, 10, no, 9 or 10, wasn't it? 9.
I'm not
No, sorry,
that old.
No,
2012.
2012, there we were. Like, huge relief to, this has been the ambition, this has been the dream for all that time.
Yeah, I think rallying's like all I really want to do, and I think I was saying it on another podcast recently, like every decision I've made over the last 10, 15 years is like, what's a better option to have a rally career, essentially, or to be as close to having a career in it. So yeah, you're all the time thinking of that, and for it to start to come together and pay off. But as Shane was saying, a lot of pressure. There's a lot of people behind us that are supporting us. So the academy, M Sport, all our other sponsors, our family, everyone. Like we had some of my family there at the weekend, and you have in your back of your mind like things like, oh, you do better when they're not there, but obviously those are things that aren't true, because now they were there and we won. So yeah, there's things like that can really put you off. But going into the last stage, I think it was good, because sometimes I can get like a bit emotional just thinking about you're doing well, and I wouldn't be I wouldn't be an emotional person anyway. Like I'm quite just straightforward and don't know, just mellow with those things. But like when it comes and you feel it, because you don't feel it so often. So it was good from that side, and then going into the last stage, it was just it kind of took me away from maybe an attack mode to being a bit more like chilled out and let's get through with the gap that we have. And we crossed the finish line. Me and Shane had a good long drive down to where the podium was at the power stage. Just we couldn't really say too much, to be fair. I think we're both just a bit speechless, but a couple of happy tears and just the sense of relief that we were able to pull it off. And yeah, it's definitely the best feeling in the world. And then we got to because it was so far to go down to the the stopping place, and we got there. We got out, and we're like, what do we do? And then Molly was like, get up on the roof, because we were a bit sheepish. We're like, we don't know what to do. So,
Never done this before.
we managed to get up on the roof without slipping in the rain. And
Well, I was very close now, dude. But that'll be typical me, like.
But no, it was such a good feeling, and just to see so many people there, and to soak it all in. It's such a good feeling, and everyone was so happy for us. So yeah, just chuffed, really, to be honest. And I think, as Shane was saying earlier, you look back on it and think that actually happened in years to come. But yeah, we've got all the photos and memories now to think about it. But now the work keeps going, and we need to keep focusing, and the attention turns to Croatia, and obviously just do the best job we can there.
And Croatia, somewhere you're familiar with, you bit of confidence then, or building on the confidence, I suppose, that you took from Czech Republic into Wales, now going on to Croatia.
Yeah, I think that you've got a good bit of pace, then you have to just put in the work and leave yourself in the best position to have a good rally. So it's just doing your preparation with before the rally, understanding what the route is of the rally, and stages, and what ones you've done before, and finding onboards or looking back at your own onboards. I've done the rally twice in Junior BRC, so I'll have driven some of the stages, so that'll help for sure. And just knowing the character as well, it's quite a slippy rally. The surface doesn't have a lot of grip, so just having that sort of knowledge is always going to help.
And Kevin,
I suppose, like, last final question then, I suppose, like, the lady in your life, Daphne, like, what an absolute legend she has been. Like, she has treated you so well the last couple of rallies.
Yes, Daphne's a good girl. She's behaving herself for sure. No, it's it's I don't know. She just is a special car. Like, I went to M Sport and put her together with a lot of guidance at the start of the year. And I don't know if that just creates some sort of connection, but yeah, she's been a nice car, and we've always had good pace with her. And yeah, it's now three podiums that we've had in ERC with that chassis, and yeah, it obviously has a special place in our heart. But yeah, I thought whenever you threw that question, you were on about Holly, but
sorry to disappoint. So again, thanks very much to Jon Shane. On the crest of a wave there, no doubt about it, and brilliant. They took the time to come and tell us all about it as well then too. And as we said earlier, Connor, not just the two guys that won right throughout the field, brilliant. So we're going to hear now from Eamonn Kelly, Kelly McBride, and Joe Kelly as well too. And what can we say? Just fantastic.
Incredible. I really enjoyed following the battle between Joe and Kyle, and you really didn't know where it was going to end up or who was going to take the honours between the two of them. But boy, did they fight it out to the bitter end.
Yeah. So the first voice you'll hear is Eamonn, and then it'll go on to the other two guys from there.
Yeah, definitely. It was a great weekend. It's our third time going back to that rally, so we knew that it was going to be a good event. It's always well organised, always good atmosphere, great stages. So it was one I was really keen to go back to. Obviously, I went there last year, and it was the first time it was running the ERC, and myself and Rory led most of the event, and nearly got to the end in the lead, and but didn't end up in the lead in the end. So yeah, obviously kind of keen to go back and finish off that little bit of business too. But yeah, it was great. It was a good chance for me to get back on tarmac. Hadn't been out since Killarney, which also didn't end very well either. So yeah, I guess getting back on tarmac was very important for me ahead of Central Europe in October. So yeah, it just made sense in many ways. And although Rory couldn't make it this year, Lorcan Moore jumped in, and yeah, it was just a great chance to learn the new Hankook tire and get the mileage. And yeah, that's exactly what we did. Felt comfortable from the start and were able to be on the pace straight away. And even though I was probably still at the end working towards where I want to be and across the whole weekend, I think there's much more in everything. I was quite happy with how we performed, particularly on Saturday. And I felt with the beating of the main ERC3 guys, which is good too, because I think one of the guys there from Poland in the Fiestas, he's the Fiesta Trophy winner and he's the ERC3 champion this year, more than likely. So, he's the pace setter. So at least you're on the pace there too. So it's good and gives you good confidence. And yeah, obviously nice to go back and set things straight after last year. So it was a nice feeling for sure.
Yeah, and also to compare your times against a Clio as well, which is like a new car to the category as well. So it's nice to see where the Fiesta pace there would be as well.
Yeah, definitely. Maciek texted me the night before the rally and says, under no circumstances should that Clio finish ahead of you. So simple objective, wasn't it? But,
yeah, very clear instructions.
Yeah. So it was a simple job, but yeah, no, look, they seem to be a competitive car. Obviously, they're in WRC3 too as well. So we see them at those events, and we know they're sharp. But the Fiesta performed really well. The chassis seems to work well on the tight, twisty lanes, and you can really attack them. And when you go into the likes of that long 34k stage, and it's narrow, bumpy, and jumpy, as everybody probably seen from the videos, the car works really, really nicely, and you can attack everything with confidence. And yeah, tires worked well too. There was a lot of learning involved in the whole thing. It was our first time using them, so it's just a case of adapting to it and understanding it. That's what we'll have to do in Central Europe, the same as everybody else. So yeah, it worked really well though. Whenever we started to understand it, and a little bit more learning to do on the wet side of things. But overall, it's quite good. And John Archer and his team were a great help to us all weekend. They were there in the tent every time we're in service, and I was giving them feedback, and they were helping me make the right decisions and do the right things. So yeah, it was good.
And Kyle, yourself and Joe have been battling all year past. I think you took it to another level. It was like a seesaw watching it. Nearly every stage there was a change of lead. Frantic battle.
Yeah, that's it. It's good. It's good. Good battle all weekend with Joe, and yeah, it's good to be in a battle as well. It brings you on, and I think it keeps it interesting for not only for us but from people watching from the outside as well. Because when it is so tight, it makes it really, really interesting. And yeah, it was a really cool rally. The Ceredigion it's really iconic rally. Some really cool stages, and yeah, the big long stage as well was interesting. And yeah, overall it was a good event for us, and yeah, it was really, really, really good for us. So yeah, happy to be fair.
Yeah, like Joe. Yeah, unfortunately, he pipped you at the last. But the last time we spoke, you said you were working in your tarmac pace. You have to come away more than happy with where your pace is at now.
Yeah, we're happy enough with where it is. Obviously, just that last wee bit on Sunday evening, probably we were just maybe disappointed coming off the last stage. But listen, it's 4.1 seconds over an hour and a half or an hour and 40 minutes of rallying. It's very, very tight. But yeah, we put in a good bit of work before the event. We done the mini stages in Limerick, and we had a good test as well. So yeah, started definitely feeling a lot more comfortable in tarmac now coming away from the event as well. So yeah, it was a fantastic battle. Listen, as Kyle says, it brings the two of us on, and yeah, I'm sure it's good for people to watch too.
Yeah, because whenever you have to find that, to battle with somebody like Kyle, you have to dig within yourself and to find a new pace even within yourself, probably.
Exactly. You're trying to extract every last bit out of the tire and out of the notes and everything, just to try and put it all together. yeah, I would say that's just maybe what hampered us a wee bit on the end of the last stage. I would say we just asked a wee bit too much of the wet tyres we had on, and yeah, the car was just starting to move about quite a bit and everything. So yeah, but listen, that's learning too for the future. Like.
Mm-hmm. Connor, you want to jump in there?
Yeah, like what do you call it, Kyle? From your own perspective, what we're 4.1 seconds or something over 185 kilometers, like 2 days of rallying, and it comes down to such a narrow margin. When you're going into that last stage, like where's your focus? What's your concentration on? Like, are you, looking to see where can you cut the corners, get the extra time, or get the time back?
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit of nerve-wracking going into. Suppose when you get that far through a weekend and you're going to the last stage, and you kind of have to throw the kitchen table at it. Suppose you kind of have to, I think, just focus on the stage, and kind of go for it as safely as possible as well. So no, thankfully we did that, and we had a really good stage. We actually, towards the start of the stage, wasn't ideal. We actually had a small overshoot on a hairpin right. Cost me a little bit of time, and then it wasn't ideal because you're thinking of it in the back of your head that you kind of have to make up what you've lost on the hairpin right, and find more. So no, look, it was good, to be fair. I was happy with how I was able to turn that around and try and not let that hamper with you or think about it too much. Just kind of focus corner to corner, and look ahead to next corner. So yeah, look, it was over fairly quick this stage. So yeah, we just pushed as hard as we could, and thankfully it worked in the end.
And Joe, for yourself, some of the stages look quite familiar to what we'd have at home, narrow, with crests and jumps compared to what you usually find on either the BRC or ERC rounds. Did you feel a wee bit more at home on the stages?
I definitely felt at home. There was actually one stage on the Saturday that me and Kelly both said to ourselves that if you dropped us there, we both said we think we're in West Cork. It was so like West Cork. It was really fast, and just high banks and everything in it. But yeah, all over the weekend you saw bits and pieces of home, but it felt pretty comfortable, and it felt like we didn't have to adapt too much to adapt the car too much to the roads. We had a good enough setup at home, and we just brought that across, and it seemed to work pretty well. So it was definitely nice to have a wee bit of familiarity that way.
And with that between the stages, is there much tweaking to the setup, or pretty much you just leave it be, and unless there's something major coming up, with regard to conditions?
It was generally at the weekend there we kind of left it be. Again, with whenever the rain came on, we were kind of lucky it was in service, so we made a couple of changes on Sunday afternoon in service just to adapt to the wet conditions. But apart from that, no, it was fairly plain sailing that way.
And Eamon, for yourself, Central European rallies, the next one, characteristics of the stage is quite different maybe to what you had in Wales. Like, is there much you can take, or is there much of a baseline or benchmark that you'll get from that for Central European?
Yeah, it is fairly different. Like, and the way you set the car up is going to be fairly different. So I came away. We did a test the weekend before, set the car up for Wales, which will be different to how it's going to be in Central Europe. And yeah, there was times where I felt I probably could have changed the setup throughout the weekend, but I just adapted to the car, and I was happy enough. I understood how the car was working, and there was times where it mightn't have been ideal. I think maybe the car was a little bit too soft, which is probably my own fault. I set it up that way. So it's we were testing quite a bumpy road, so that was it was a little bit of a compromise in places, especially the likes of the town stage there, where everything's tight and the car's a little bit lazy and just isn't working the way you want it to. And but again, for me, it was more about tarmac miles. I didn't want to start to fry my head changing setup in Wales, especially when I knew I had not a whole pile of relevance to Central Europe. So I was quite happy just to get on with it and drive the car, and focus on the tires more so. But yeah, characteristics. There is places, yeah, it can overlap. Even like in the wet conditions, where muck pulled out across the road. I think that's quite a common feature in Central Europe with the big cuts and stuff. Although I do think it's gotten better with anti-cut devices, but you will still get that where there's muck across the road and you have to figure out how much you put the car in. but that's tarmac rallying, it's transferable everywhere. So yeah, purely tarmac miles. But we're lucky we'll get the opportunity to go to Rally Novogorica now at the end of the month, all going well in my own car, and it's a lot more similar to Central Europe, smoothish tarmac, sort of, semi-ish wide roads, opportunities for big cuts, no real ditches or banks or anything, just straight on the grass, that kind of environment, and changing grip. So that will be a little bit more realistic, and we'll be able to hone in on an event like that in terms of really tweaking the car between stages if we feel we need to. And yeah, that's where you can kind of see the benefit to changing stuff a little bit more relentlessly. But Wales was just about driving and getting the feeling back, and just enjoying it as well, because as the lad said, it was such a good event.
And Eamonn, you mentioned the town stage. Look, that's great, obviously, for getting rallying to the spectators and the fans, and particularly those fans that maybe aren't that familiar with rallying. But is there much enjoyment in those stages as a driver?
Yeah, they vary. Like, there's sections of it you like. Some town stages include like donuts around barrels and stuff like that. And okay, it's harsh on the tires, especially if it's on a gravel setup. But like, it's hard not to enjoy it, at the same time. I think there's been times when myself and Connor have been out doing town stages and you're doing a donut around a barrel. It's hard not to laugh. Like, silly things like that. Yeah, they're grand, but they're always tricky at the very start of a rally, because you have this big build up across a Thursday and you've shakedown, and then this big long drag the whole way to do like 1 minute of driving. It's such a big build up, and then there's a whole anticipation of having like 2 or 3 days of proper action ahead of you, and you don't want to throw that all away by making a stupid mistake by hitting a ball out or something. So that always plays on your mind. So it can be a little bit difficult to like fully relax and enjoy them. You just want to get them out of the way and have a good solid run. But yeah, when there's no pressure and no, in that kind of sense, sometimes they run them at the end of a long day and there's no pressure. You're close to the end. You can just enjoy it and throw the car around a bit and drive with a smile on your face. So yeah, it's situational based, I would say.
And Ken, maybe even sort of a similar question to yourself. Do you get that? Do you get the noise or the buzz from the crowd at the likes of a town stage there? Like, we've seen the massive crowds that was there and Friday evening at Aberystwyth.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely can see the crowds all hanging out watching, of course, but you haven't much time to look or take much of it in, because you're kind of focused to get through the stage, and I think the town stages is quite tricky, to be honest, when the front wheel drive car. So Eamonn's a bit handier off there. He's 4-wheel drive to get the yoke around, but in the front wheel drive it's a bit trickier, because you're trying to pull yourself around, and some of them tight donuts you have to do. Like, it's not ideal in a front wheel drive, but you just kind of want to get through it as clean as you can, and like, realistically, you haven't a whole pile to gain in a small stage, but you have a whole pile to lose. So you've all to lost, nothing to gain, really, in my eyes, sometimes, the way I look at it. So I just kind of want to get through it, and then suppose focus on the next day, because you usually have like a full day of action after, the following day of the rally. Like, so yeah, but it's really, really good for the rally to do that, to take, suppose, the rally to the spectators, and bring it to a new audience as well, because sometimes we aren't, or they aren't going to go and come out to the back end of narrow roads and look at the rally, like, unless you bring it right into their face. Suppose they'll look at it and probably admire it, and think more of it too, so yeah, I think it's good, and I feel like it's becoming more of a thing as well. So yeah, that's also good that rallies is doing that. So yeah, it's good for sponsors, and brings a lot of people together as well for the town, and everything else.
And like Joe, like, you can go from doing like 1 or 2 kilometers around like a town to doing that big long stage. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it, like 30 something kilometers long. Like, that's the extremes of rallying. You can go from that to that, and like, there's so much in between. But that long stage just seemed absolutely epic.
It was very, very good. Now there was a bit of everything in it. To be fair, with bumps and jumps and fast stuff, and it's it's definitely one of the best stages I've ever done, and I think a lot of people said that at the weekend. Even some of the regular ERC guys said that. It's just the variety it offered and everything, and it's the longest stage I ever done. And there's times you're going through it thinking when was it going to end, I suppose. But no, this was very, very good, and even a credit to the organisers as well. To be fair, like running that sort of stage and taking a town stage as well and stuff like that. It was very, very well put on, and everybody seemed to be very welcoming of it.
Mm-hmm. And then over the weekend, like the conditions, like on Sunday, the weather was horrendous. Like to get people to go out and marshal and stand out in them conditions, it's not an easy task, and we have to suppose pay tribute to all them that made the effort to go out and do that, because with those long stages and with those town stages, etc., it takes a lot of manpower.
Definitely so. I'm sure it does. I did hear a figure. I think it was in around the 800 mark of marshals or timekeepers. Everybody that I heard do at the rally, which is fair play to them. It's only been run maybe 3 or 4 times, I think, and to have it at ERC level and all the rest of it's probably just a wee bit of a pity they didn't get the same entry that they would have got last year from the ERC. But I suppose that's just the way it falls for them.
Mm-hmm.
But no, definitely a very good rally.
Yeah, and for you, used to competing in BRC and the ITRC events, was there a notable step up, to the ERC, or did you feel comfortable enough there?
I think probably the biggest thing was the recce and just the length of the recce. We had 1 day to do it, and it was a fairly long day, which I suppose there was no more stages than you would get in an Irish tarmac rally, but it's just you only had the 1 day, and it was a long day, and everything's so spread out and all that. But apart from that, no, I didn't find the step up as bad as maybe I would have expected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Kyle, maybe the same sort of similar question to yourself. Like, you've done a couple of European events now, and like, was it like something you felt comfortable with, or was there a difference?
Yeah, I feel like I suppose the recce always is the big one, because it was really I suppose it was a 3 day rally, but it was really only a 2 day rally, because the Friday stage was just a straight stage, So yeah, you'd only 1 day to do all the recce for the rally, which is quite kind of rammed in. But I think it learns you a lot as well. Even by doing recce and doing a long day recce, I think you learn more, because you have to really, really focus. And then you haven't much time after that to get everything prepared. So but yeah, look, it definitely is a higher level for sure. Which is good. It's good to be able to compete at that level, because look, it only brings you on as a driver, and everything else that goes along with it. So no, it definitely was very, very good, and a very good event, and run very good by the marshals, and the whole motor club around it was unbelievable. So yeah, hats off to them.
Yeah, and Eamon, I suppose to flip that question around for you, like you're competing in WRC events, and like you can see obviously why that rally has grown so quickly and already around the ERC. Like that was World Championship level, like the organisation, the event, the way it ran over the whole weekend.
Yeah, for sure. And as I said, it was my 3rd time there, and 2022 is the first time I went there, and they were eyeing the direction of ERC, and you could tell that by the way they were running the event, they had the plan. They had a clear plan in place. They weren't just sort of aiming in a random direction. They had a very clear plan of where they wanted to go, because even when it was BRC in 2022, you had members of the FIA and European Championship there looking at the event to see what its capabilities were like. So they ran it to that international standard, and it was a part of I think it was a ERT, which is a championship for events that kind of could be put in and out of a European Championship roster. So yeah, clear plan in place. They've guys in their team there like Andy Gilmore, who obviously have a lot of experience in international rallying, and they know how to run events. So yeah, they know what they're doing, and that's very clear to see. I hope that it's an event that stays in that calendar for time to come, and maybe it'll even get an opportunity to run at the beginning of an ERC calendar some year and avail of a higher entry. But it's just unfortunate, I think, where it sits, that no matter how brilliant your event is, if it runs at the end of a ERC calendar, the entries are going to be smaller. That's just how it falls. Mm-hmm. But you touched on the likes of that long stage. you can see that they've been playing around with different variations of stages over the years. And that one, I think different parts of it have been run before, but the way they've run it this year, it's like you could see that turning into a classic. It's got that feel to it, such a challenge, and everyone liked it. It's like, you get good stages, you get stages that are fast, technical, but this was everything plus the challenge. It was like daunting. It was really difficult. You were never getting a break. It was 34K of just start to finish, like full focus. And that's class. That's a proper challenge for a driver and co-driver. And that's, they're the things you remember in rallying. That's what you want. And especially if you're battling, like the two lads, going into a stage like that with a battle it's just brilliant. So yeah, they're clearly thinking of the competitors, and the show and all the rest. So yeah, I hope it's a start of a long future for the event.
Yeah, and like something else I suppose we should mention with the club too, the way they paid tribute to the Roberts family. Like they had Dye's crest and had a young fella out in the car going round the town stage and all that. It was very tastefully done. It was a lovely way to pay respect to both Dye and Jaffa as well too. It was a nice touch by the club over the weekend.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think everyone remembers the onboard of James and Dye heading up to that jump, and that was actually 2022. I think the year that I done the rally, and I remember that, and I remember seeing it on Becky and being like, "Oh, I don't know if that's flat or not," especially in the front wheel drive car. But they definitely took it flat, and I remember seeing the onboard after and going, "Wow!" Yeah, it's pretty iconic, and that's cool too, because it is such a thing in the world of rallying that we have different crests and jumps in different countries that bring back memories of certain people. So it's really nice that they've done that there. And Nandy Mock has already become a fan favourite and a competitor favourite among a lot of the drivers, especially in the ERC, understandably, because it's a fantastic stage. So to add that extra element of a memory of someone who's obviously very, very important to British and Welsh rallying is extra special. And yeah, I think it was fair to say there weren't too many people who didn't take it flat this weekend.
So it is flat the Rally 3 car?
No, absolutely, yeah.
And Joe, is it flat in the Rally 4 car?
Yeah.
Kyle?
Oh, I full throttle over it.
But we've said it before, and no doubt we'll say it 100 times more. How good is Irish rally at the moment? Like, when you look back at the results from that rally there, overall one, Will and Liam took a fantastic result. Eamonn, you took Rally 3. Kyle and Joe, you just were battling out, for top Junior BRC and Stellantis points. Eamonn, this is just it's the stuff of dreams, really, and this is the golden era.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been good. I think undoubtedly it was a tough first half of the year for everyone. I think everybody had their fair share of bad luck, but I think it might have been John Coyne or someone else that said like it has to turn at some point. And when you look at the second half of the year we've had, it has been really strong. There's been great results across the board on an international level, and that weekend in Wales was just another fine example of it. And seeing Jon and Shane win was just pure class. Like, I couldn't have been happier for both of them. I think everybody was. It was just such a long time coming and so well deserved. And yeah, it was just absolutely class to see, and so good for Irish rallying. But yeah, it shows like we can all go over there. I think it was practically every category we had entered, we won. So it was really good. And it's good because it's nice then when Irish crews can show up to any event internationally with a level of respect behind them. And I think that's starting to come now. People see an academy logo on a car and maybe they think, that there's a certain level of respect behind that. Certainly what we're working towards, and it's certainly what's happening.
Yeah, because Joe, isn't it just absolutely fabulous? Like, you just go over there, you're competitive, you're leading and pushing for ones and one thing and another, and you're coming back here and doing the likes of Donegal, and there's guys pushing you, so it just shows that the level's just going up and up and up.
There's no, the level just keeps going and going, and I know it was fantastic that everybody went over there and had a good run, and especially as Eamonn said, for Jon and Shane. I remember Shane sat with me in the past, and he put in a lot of work to that, and I can only imagine the work he's putting into the sitting with Jon now, and it was fantastic to see the two of them to get over the line, and just all the results. It was very, very good now. And even, as Eamonn saying, internationally, and this half of the year now, with himself winning Finland, and Josh having a good run in the WRC as well, and it's just always in an upward spiral at the minute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kyle, I say golden era. We're going to look back in 10, 15 years' time and think, my God, and you are part of that. That must feel pretty special.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. To be part of it, it's really, really special, and I think it shows. Suppose what you're saying, what the pace of Irish rallying is at the minute, and it also shows the work that the academy is putting in. For all the results from the weekend there, as Eamon says, each category, it was academy crews. So yeah, like it's hats off. It's kind of, well, it's a weekend for them as well, because it shows that what they're trying to do is working. And yeah, look, sometimes with this sport you get bad luck, and it's hard to get everything 100% right. But it's so good whenever it works out like that. And yeah, all Irish lads had a really, really good strong result in Cardigan and beyond, and it's still growing. So yes, delighted for Jon and Shane also to get the win, and yeah, it was a long time coming for them guys as well, and yeah, great to see. So they hope there'll be many more as well. So no, it's just a huge credit to what the academy is doing, and Motorsport Ireland. So yeah, it's huge credit to them, and to be a part of it's a privilege.
Mm-hmm. And Kyle, I suppose then for yourself then to round out the year, be seeing out the Stellantis and the BRC, so Cork 20 and then the Cambrian.
Yeah, Cork 20. So yeah, but stay on tarmac at the minute. So yeah, looking forward to Cork 20. Did it last year as well, and yeah, it's really good event. Very fast event. 2 days this year as well. So it's gonna be a challenge as well. So not looking forward to getting back onto tarmac again, and yeah, getting back in the car, and yeah, learning every day as we go out, and yeah, doing two champions this year is a lot. So yeah, looking forward to getting down to Cork now, and yeah, for full focus ahead for that.
Yeah, and Eamon, you touched on, you have a warm-up event and then the Central European. That's your primary focus, get those two events now?
Yeah, very much so. Central Europe won't be long coming around, the middle of October. So yeah, obviously build the tarmac mileage. Lucky to be heading out now to get the opportunity to do the Nova Gorica rally in Slovenia. As I said, yeah, it's a little bit more representative, so it's going to give us the chance to really nail down the setup and the speed on tarmac, and leave us properly set up for Central Europe, because we still have a chance to win the Junior World Championship, and even if it's not the highest probability, there's still a chance there. And Central Europe has thrown up a lot of challenges in the past, as we've seen. A lot of people have been caught out there. Anything can happen. It's a very tricky rally, so we know what our job is. It's very simple. I think we have to win the rally. So once we do that, we can do no more. The rest is up to fate, I suppose. But yeah, it's our last blast at a JWRC round, so we want to give it everything. And as I said, lucky to be able to put in all this prep and have great support behind me from all my sponsors, the academy, my family, and everything. So yeah, it's one last shot, but really looking forward to it. And my speed in a good place at the minute. Confidence is good. So yeah, we're just going to go and give it everything.
And Joe, Stellantis and BRC, I suppose, is the primary focus. But there's this weekend, there's something pretty special happening.
That's right. Yeah, it is the primary focus. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not talking about it too much this week now. No, we're lucky enough to get the chance to go to Wexford this weekend in a new Yaris we've acquired, Rally 2 car. So yeah, it was good. We had a short test in it this morning there, and it felt really, really good. Obviously, it's going to be about learning the car and getting the mileage this weekend. But yeah, we're definitely looking forward to it now.
Yeah, because like Wexford is like 18 stages, 9 each day. That's probably no better test for jumping into a new car.
Exactly. Yes, it's two national rallies just back to back on one another, and it's easy enough to recce and everything. And yeah, it should just give us a good feel of the car. There's no we've no pressure on ourselves going down there. There's no championships to worry about, nothing like that. So yeah, we'll just go down and try and get every stage and get every mile that we can in the car.
Yeah, and then I suppose then back to the day job as such. Then the Cork 20 and then the Cambrian. You feel now the pace is as good now in tar as it is in gravel. So confident going into the last two.
Yeah, confident going into the last two, and even any day you're in a rally car should help. So we bit of seat time in Wexford this weekend, will lead on hopefully to helping in the Peugeot as well. To be fair, yeah, well, listen, we're gonna have to give it our all now for the end of the year to try and see what we can do.
Thank you so much to Eamonn, to Kyle, and to Joe, and then prior to that we had Shane and John, and just amazing that on the back of the really, really busy build up to the rally and the weekend itself, that the guys made time to come and chat to us and tell us their stories, and really did enjoy having the conversations with them to see what was going on for them last weekend.
Yep, that's for sure. Yeah, so that's the latest from Krunching Gears, the Rally podcast. Please like, share, rate, subscribe. As we keep saying, they make a difference, and it's great to hear your feedback. Until the next time, take care, speak soon, and bye.
That's the proudest day and the proudest time in the seat of a rally car, because that day and that hour and those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all was said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.